Jesse, someone's been naughty with this speaker. I see what's prompting the desire to change. We'll see if there's any punctures in a cone material there. But this is something very common. I could take care of that for you if you wish. Let me know what you want to do. If you want to move forward with those other speakers, I can certainly do that for you. Bye-bye. Fletch, what's up, buddy? Real quick.
6.5 hours later,
Sorry, I don't have time to mount this thing up on a stand, but I just want to give you a quick update. So, YouTube's all testing good condition. 12AX72 is good. 12AX73 is good. Let's try the other triode. There we go. Good to go. XL61 is good. XL6 number 2.
it's good. It's good. It's good.
The caps, though they're incredibly old, I mean, we're looking at 1996, and these could be old stock. It's probably time to change these. There's some 120 in the background. I'll let you hear that. We have some broken joints on the board here. And some starved joints, meaning that there's hardly any solder holding these guys on. You've been lucky so far. Probably recommend, obviously, reinforcing these guys, and you can see that we're developing a little bit of an issue here. Now, I don't know if somebody came in, because I'll tell you that a lot of the areas where we typically see problems on these, it's not that they've been totally addressed, but they've kind of been addressed. So I don't know how long you've had this, so forgive me. Your jacks seem to be working fine. Thankfully, your preamp out jack hasn't really broken yet, but I need to get under here and reinforce all of the joints on the board. You can just see that there's like a lot of environmental contamination. If you look inside the little plastic windows here, and you can see that these need some cleaning, and they're facing straight up, so why wouldn't they, you know? These things are just dust and filter receptacles, basically. Whatever's flying around in your house is in there. Again, recommend, but don't have to, but I recommend changing the filter caps out. It's time for a cap job. What I would like to do is change out the plate resistors on the phase inverter. These things typically go bad. Let me investigate this. This is your screen grid resistors here. It looks like they were changed to higher wattage units, so that's good. Let me investigate to make sure that this isn't a burned solder pad, and it's, you know, hopefully it's just some flux. The guy didn't clean up his joints after. I would like to change the plate load resistors on the rest of the preamp supply. The phase inverter coupling caps that feed the signal to the power tubes, to the old handoff. I would like to change those because those can short and wreak havoc. Not the best angle here. However, this is great news here. So this cap here is typically way undersized. And what you'll see typically, again, around the traces of the board would be some browning and charring from the from basically current damage. And that's not happening here, so that's awesome. I don't know, I've never seen one with a resistor this size. I have seen some other 3-watt resistors. I've been doing this for 20 years, and you know, I'll probably do, wow, 30 to 40 of the Hot Rod series annually. So I hardly ever see these. And then if you look at the spec of these screen grid resistors, they're nice. They're nice, and that makes me extremely happy. Another place that you will typically see some issues, and I've already inspected it from the top side as much as possible, even shining a light under the board. And then adjusting settings on my phone to see if I can capture any evidence of burning, but you will see it here. And then on these Zener diodes that knock it down to a suitable supply to feed your your bipolar low voltage supply, which is basically this little TLO72, which is going to drive your reverb and do the recovery stuff. All that good stuff, your LEDs, all that stuff, channel switching, the whole thing. So just quickly, again, contemporaneous, and for the rest of the dudes who are tuning in on this thing, all my videos are just customer notes that I just publish, so I have a place to store them without getting dinged on iCloud or through Gmail or what have you. So if you swim by, they seem a little informal. That's why I dumb things down or tone them down a bit so we can get everyone on board. If you want some more technically dense info, you can go visit Brad over at the old Guitar Garage, or you can check out Lyle. And then there's a UK dude. A lot of great guys out there if you want some more technically dense info to chew through. And maybe at some point I'll do that too, but you can get that elsewhere. So go visit those guys. Everything else is great. It looks like if a dude was in here, or if maybe Fender was having a good day, they did give you a little bit of an air gap there, which is nice. That was courteous. And then here, I don't know if a dude just flipped the board over when he was, ostensibly changing the screen resistors there, and he just decided to, melt the joint and then push these out a bit. And that's about the space you would get if you push the leads out on the back end of the board. Kind of destroy your mechanical connection. But obviously, they're hanging in there, right? So that's about it. Your tubes test fine with respect to what I'm able to get out of my little SIN core over here. Pardon the spaghetti there, buddy. So emission-wise, all of them test strong. Surprisingly, these old groove tubes aren't microphonic, which I was expecting. I need to validate the bias settings and check all that good stuff. But from what I saw, there's no excessive current draw, only some light 120 hertz buzz. Again, there's no shielding. We're looking at open shell. You don't have advantage of the Faraday shield with everything fully enclosed and your noise being drained to ground. And then I have your reverb sounds a little trashy. Now, granted, it's not oriented in the proper direction. I'll go ahead and make sure that we are dealing with some obvious oxidation on the RCA jacks. So I'll take care of that for you. But I'll make sure it's not an issue with the driver here. And it shouldn't be. These are pretty stout. But when they go, then it's kind of obvious that you lose other functions along the control panel as well. And it's just a bad scene. No discoloration here, which is what you typically see on these types of connections, because you're dealing with two different types of metal that are interacting with, some of them with high current. Not a good thing typically, but we're just not seeing that here. So I don't know if this is just a case of this being a good solid Tuesday built amp or what, but she's holding up really nice. Again, your speaker terminals, and I'll probably patch it in now, on one of the 12-inch drivers, it looks like it was sheared off, so it's just kind of free floating. You know about that. You want me to go ahead and change them to those hemp cone speakers, which we'll do. I'll see if we can get the best price for you. Maybe you can beat it, or maybe I can beat it. We'll see who wins. You just ship it over here if you do. But I'm gonna do a more thorough inspection. So again, just to recap for the 20th time, I'm sorry, like an hour of sleep. I recommend a full cap job on the electrolytics. I recommend reinforcing all the jacks and these pots under the PCB. I recommend maybe changing out the or moving the screen grid resistors to this side of the PCB, which I like to do. But they're hanging out, and if I don't have to disrupt these fragile solder pads, and then I won't. I want to obviously get these immaculate, and then reflow all the solder joints here. Clean and retension your sockets, clean your jacks, the little switching contacts and all, then the barrels in there. You'll see what I do. Clean and lube the pots, and get these guys get these guys nice and clean. You'll see. We'll see what kind of impact that has on the 120. I may bust out the scope if I have time just to see what kind of ripple we have there. But I really think it's more environmental here in the room. And yeah, obviously, these caps are in poor shape after all the years. But from the way it looks like if you're looking at like maybe the surface pitting here, and some of that I can get out without disturbing the silk screening. If you're looking at that, you almost want to assume that this thing was just, maybe a guy tweaked it a bit and just stored it more than he played it. And that's kind of what this looks like. So that's on the up and up as far as these things are concerned. So I'll, once I get the price of the drivers, I'll go ahead and add that in. I'll give you a couple different options for level of service that you and your son might want to get into. And let me know what you choose. Hope you're doing well. Anybody else watching this thing, hope you guys are well. Maybe I'll just close it with you getting a sample of what I'm hearing with the reverb. And again, a lot of this stuff is due to change once I decontaminate these jacks in the pots. So it's all just up in the air, just typical run-of-the-mill stuff that we see with these amps, or amps like this in general. So it's 500 and a little low frequency there, running at about 1/2 volt. Let's get her off. The reverb up. You have some crispy pots. That's you know what that is. Let's keep her there. We'll check out the bass over there. Nice. Nice. Probably not coming through there. Mid-range, nice. Treble's responding nicely. Just a little dirty. Presence, a little crispy. Reverb as well. We're going to ensure that these aren't leaking decoupling caps. And we'll make sure that all that's nice and electronically sound when we're doing the full inspection. But she definitely needs just the basic service for right now. And honestly, if your kid's just like, Dad, I don't want to spend any more money, you just roll the dice on these caps. You know, worst case scenario, it may take out this pair of 6L6s that have a lot of life left in them. The worst case, maybe it'll take out a transformer. I need to run through the schematic again, and I'll attach that to the shared note in the iPhone app. And we'll see if there's any countermeasures there to protect your transformers. And what else? Because I see a little mauve there. That's nice. That's always nice. You want to see that. Let's see what else. Let me get this thing shut off and drained. Oh yeah, on the back side, rather the opposite side of the chassis here. I'll patch it in. I took some footage of your choke. Your choke is right after your initial cap. And what it's doing is it's going to sit in between these guys here. And these are the leads for your choke here. These are just situated in such a way just so they can get past the working voltage limitations there. You got way more than 350 volts on the plates of these power tubes here. So your choke is sitting in between the reservoir caps, these balance resistors, and then I don't know if it's the Y node. I think it might be the Y or whatever, but we'll check it out. This C34, or rather C33, pardon me. Kind of hard to see with the glare and my caffeineless mind. It looks like at some point it might have overheated because some of the potting material had leaked out, and it's just amber stuff here. And I'll just kind of see if I can move this thing over there and kind of show you. That's what it basically is. And this is the stuff. This is the same sort of thing they do with guitar pickups, where they what they'll do is they'll soak the transformer or whatever inductor or whatever coily thing wound around a bobbin. They'll soak it in a fluid which hardens after it cools off. Sometimes it's lacquer. Sometimes it's like an epoxy resin. Sometimes it's damn wax, depending on how far back you go. Anyway, when the temperature goes up and it reaches its melting point, the stuff comes out. You know, we have gravity to blame for that, right? And then it cools off and it hardens up, and that's what we're looking at here. It's got a tacky feel to it. It dried in an amber type kind of a color, so it feels a bit rubbery. So it's a type of resin, so it's all good. Maybe that's responsible for some of what I'm hearing in the background, but I could pull that off. It's so easy. Just these little connectors here. I could pull it off and test it, and tell you if she's acting up, but I doubt it. You know, this stuff happens during assembly and throughout the life of the amp, and obviously she's running pretty well. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hope you guys, all you meow meows and goons out there, you guys from the gear page who are silently surfing and inspecting, measuring everything I say, everything I do, trying to look at my gear and tell me it's out of date or not cool enough, doesn't have the right logos on it, whatever. You know, you don't even need half this stuff. I don't need half this. I don't need any of this stuff to do my job. 99% of the time, I can get by with my meter here. And as a matter of fact, I can get by with this one. I don't even need a benchtop meter. Why did I do that? Because I'm a moron. No, I needed a little more granularity with some of the things I've been measuring lately. And that Hioki, while it's a damn fine meter, it's probably more suited towards an electrician than a guy who's doing some lower voltage stuff. And just lower voltage, despite the fact... Oh, I don't even know what happened there. Lower voltage with that's tongue-in-cheek, because some of the amps we work on have, you know, in excess of 750 plate volts loaded. So... I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm awash in old technology, and I love it. But you guys getting started out there, you just need a nice handheld meter and get some nice soldering equipment and some hand tools. Get the basic stuff. You don't need any of this extravagance here. This is all superfluous. It comes from your mind. You learn what the tubes are supposed to be doing. What's the operating environment for whatever component, and you see if it's operating in that environment. Work your way through the schematic. That's all this is. But it's also a load of common sense, and you're gonna electrocute yourself a few times. I say electrocute yourself. You're gonna shock yourself. Electrocution means you've perished. So if you do it a few times, then you're some type of a mystical feline, and you've burned through some of your 9 lives. But that's not us, huh? All right. Bye. So, at the end of the day, this is what it takes to get one of the Hotrod family of amps properly serviced. You got to get these things out of here. You got to get them out of the chassis, rather. So you can do a proper inspection, you know. That's what it takes to get it done. So, looks like the prior tech did go in and add those screen resistors, but I'm going to tweak them a little bit more. And he did you the courtesy of replacing the jacks with switchcraft types. I think they are switchcrafts, as a matter of fact. He used the insulating washers, which is nice, but not necessary. You know, I've done it both ways. I've tested both ways. I haven't noticed in all my time a single increase in a single decibel of hum resulting from some supposed ground loop at the input. So that's just my experience, you know. Doesn't mean it's gospel for somebody else, but, you know, that's what it is. So, so these are your replaced input jacks. We're gonna get these guys out of there, and look at this guy. He's just this is bad news bears on this guy, but we caught it just in time, and it's a miracle. It's just a miracle that there's no scorching here. There's none of the Zener diodes that are just abruptly dropping such a huge amount of voltage off of that winding, and these guys as well. These guys haven't burned anything up, so it almost makes me feel like this thing was never played, you know. So it's a thing of beauty for you. we're going to go ahead and do the whole service, buddy. So I'll give you an update soon